Ken says, "Hi, my name is Ken, 25 years old. Oh, so young. I need your help badly. I feel like I'm drowning in debt and it's causing me to be depressed. I'm making $80,000 a year, but my car note is $700. I'm financing and my insurance is $600. I live in New York City, which explains everything you need to know. I pay $250 a month for parking. Due to my new role, I no longer need my car. I'm thinking about giving my car back since I don't use it. I also maxed out my credit card. I currently owe $7,500 and I have $30,000 in student loans. I currently live with my parents, so I don't pay much for rent. Can you please give me advice on how I can lower my debt? Do you suggest me giving back my car and also make a settlement with my credit card? I eventually have to find my own apartment, but I feel like I won't get approved with my credit score, which is a 550, and I would barely be able to afford it. I would literally do anything and everything you tell me to do. Oh, I can. We love a listening man,
Baby.
right? We love a listening man.
Yes.
Um,
Oh,
I
man.
know. So first, let's just acknowledge that, like on the surface, Ken says I make $80,000, and you're like, ooh, and then Ken says I live in New York City. And you're like,
Mhm.
oh. So, Mandy, you have lived in New York. Tell us what $80,000 really looking like. Have you lived in New York? Right? You lived in New York.
I lived in New York and I made $80,000 at a certain
Perfect.
point. Yes, I'm an expert at being underpaid in a very expensive city. But listen, like the thing that stands out for me is, first of all, you live in New York City. Why do you have a car that's $700? I'm confused. Well, when he said his car note is 700 a month, my immediate thought was, damn, his credit score is probably on the lower side because people with lower credit, and it turns out it's 550. When you have a low credit score and when you go to finance a car, you end up with like really long-term loans, very expensive, and the interest rates are just so high that it makes financing get really expensive. I would say like, and he also says he may not even need the car anymore because his job has changed or something like that. So I would say, yes, I would get rid of that car ASAP so that you can free up some cash. What kind of insurance is $600 a month? Is that can't be auto
I think that's what
insurance?
he's
Does
saying.
that mean annual
No, he probably
or
has a full.
biannual? That's a lot per month.
Yeah, but well, that happens if you have low credit and he has a brand new car, so he have to get like the max insurance, and they probably maybe have taken advantage of him.
Mm.
Because I'm not gonna lie, when Jarrell was here, when I met him, between his car note and his insurance, it was over $1,000 a month. I was like, bruh, it was the first thing that made him get rid of.
My
Yeah.
God. Yeah. Well, Ken will do anything you tell him to do right now, Tiffany. So we're saying get rid of the car, Ken.
So Ken,
Like
I would
250 a month for parking on top of that. Like that's easily that's almost 2,000 a
girl
month.
la la la. So that
Yeah.
getting rid of the car. But now it might not be as easy because you're financing. So look what it looks like to sell the car back or maybe selling the car and then paying it off. Because I mean, used cars are still being sold at a premium these days because so because here's the thing, because at the time I had Jarrell, he basically surrendered his car and they gave him whatever cash value and he still owed like a couple thousand on it. But that was before. That was like, I wouldn't say like maybe like 4 years ago, but it's different now because used cars go for, remember, Mandy, you guys sold your car, right? And you got damn near what you paid for it because right now, parts are slow to come by. And so you can sell a used car for much more. And that will save you. So what's 7 plus 7 is 14, 1550. Is that what he's like? So right now that would save you 1550 a month. That's great. Okay, so now your credit card, I don't necessarily think you need to do necessarily like a settlement on your credit card. You don't, I know it seems like because you're 25 that you owe a lot. Relatively speaking, $30,000 in student loans is not that bad. I know it sounds bad, but it's not that bad. And $7,500 on a credit card is also not that bad, relatively. I'm like, oh, child, try what I owed a good 100,000. So it's not that bad. I wouldn't necessarily settle my credit card debt. I think you can pay that off because look, if you are not paying this car note, the insurance and parking, you could put that toward your credit card and honestly have that paid off in a few months. That's what I would lean toward doing. And in so doing, by paying it off, you're going to see your credit score jump like Jordan. Okay. Also, you might want to consider, so credit cards are what they call revolving debt. And so that is one type of credit to pay back, which you're already doing with your credit card. If you divert some of that car note money towards your credit card, you can get that paid off in a year. I would also consider there's a company called, it used to be called Self Lender, but I think they just call themselves Self now. And the way Self works is that you quote unquote borrow money, but they don't give it to you. It's like, I think I always tell people choose the least amount of money. It's like $500, I think is the smallest. You borrow $500, then but they keep it in a money market account, basically a savings account for you. And then every month you pay that money back. And so instead of revolving credit, you're showing creditors and the credit reporting agencies that I know how to pay off a installment loan. That's a different type of credit. And so sometimes credit agencies like to see that you know how to do both. You know how to do credit cards, you also know how to do loans. And so it's like, I think it was like, I want to say it's like 41 bucks a month if you would borrow 500, it's like 41 bucks a month, give or take. And at the end of the year, you get your $500 back because you know they never gave it to you and you paid it off, plus a little bit of the interest, whatever the interest grew to. But it allows you over that year span. So you're going to be paying down your credit card debt, doing this like fake out loan with self lender. So two ways to show that you know how to manage credit. So you should end the year credit card debt free and hopefully a much stronger credit score. So you will be ready then to get your own apartment in a year. You know, which might seem like a long time, but it's not. I moved out around the same age you were, because same, I wasn't making much money, and I was like, how can I afford this? So that's what I would lean into. Ken is doing those things and trying not to get into any additional debt, you know. And if you have student loans that are federal right now, I mean, they're still, because when is the moratorium up, Mandy? Is it October? Did they push it back?
October, end of
Yeah,
September,
so
yeah,
you
something
might
like
not,
that.
and we'll see. We don't know what's going to happen. So I don't know if you have private student loans. It sounds like they might be federal because they're not super high. So if you have federal student loans, you're probably not making payments on that now anyway, which is great. Don't be afraid to pay just the minimum to that as you take care of this credit card debt, and then bump it up, you know, as you can pay more. And so don't, you know, stay home with the parents. I would give myself a year, work this plan. By then, I would be linking up with Mandy if I was you, so you can make more money through your career. Okay, again. You know,
Yeah, I'm worried for Ken. Like, I'm not gonna lie, living at home, 80K a year, you should be
mhm.
stacking. Like, you should be stacking your coins. Like, this is the time. I remember when I was making 80K, you got me thinking back in my memories now. That's when husband and I decided to move back in with his parents in New
Mm.
York. Oh, God help us. But to
That's
save money, so we
flashback.
could save money. Oh my God. The in-laws. Anyway, lived with them so that we could purposefully save
Mhm.
money so that we wouldn't have to take on debt for our wedding. And it was one of the smartest things we
Yeah.
did. And it's like, Ken, you're getting such a huge benefit of living there. I don't know if they charge you rent. You don't say that they do.
He
So
said
let's
a
say they're
little bit.
letting you
So
live there for
he
free.
said a little bit.
Oh, a little
Mhm.
bit of rent. Okay, gotcha. And if you can get this, if you can get that huge expense of the car off your plate, and you can cut whatever other expenses you can cut, and get that credit card debt paid down, you're still so young. But this is a really crucial moment. Like when you're 25, the financial choices you can make today can dictate whether or not you will reach like millionaire status, down the line, and they can dictate whether you'll be able to buy a house of your own someday. You're talking about renting, but think bigger. Like you can make choices today by getting rid of the car, paying down your debt, saving and investing your surplus money and not letting it, run away from you. That could set you up. Like New York is really hella expensive, but you're 25. Like if you start saving and investing now for a home purchase, like in your 30s, like that may be enough time for you to accumulate the amount of money that you will need. So like think bigger than just what's in front of you. And I feel like in New York, it's such a damn grind. And it's also, you do have those influences from people around you too. Like I get it. Like you want to get out of your parents' house, but I'm just saying, think bigger. I'm kind of giving you the same pep talk that I gave husband back in the day when, he moved out of his parents' house, like a Dominican household in the Heights, like that, something you just didn't do until you were like in your 30s because of how expensive it is. Like people live with their parents for a long time, but he moved out onto his own. And he also found himself in a lot of debt, living paycheck to paycheck. I just found out recently that he used to really go hungry in between paychecks
Oh,
because he was so proud. Like he didn't want to go home. And I was like, your mom would be
what?
pissed if she
Especially not
found
because you
out
said
that her
husband is
son,
like you said they're Dominican.
Dominican,
Girl,
yes,
not if their
she would,
Dominican baby going hungry. That's one thing.
no, I know she would kill him. But that's how, you know, but he was really thinking like, I want to get my own place. And so he got his own place and it was like more than he could afford. And like, there's also the pressure to get a car because if you're not going to leave your parents' house, you at least want to be able to like go do your own thing on the weekends and like have a little bit of freedom. But like, I had to help him think even bigger than that too. Like, what's the opportunity here? You can really become wealthy if you take some steps today. And of course, also increase your earnings at the same time. But I'm just like, come on, Ken, take advantage of this gift that you have. And yeah, your credit is crappy now, but like Tiffany said, once you pay off this debt, you know, get rid of that car, like jump like Jordan. I mean, I have no doubt that your credit will bounce back. And then it's about, okay, let's keep it there and recognize how did we get in the situation in the first place? And like, let's try not to do that. Let's not try not to do that again, Ken.
Yes.
If we can help it.
Okay.
And then find you a wife like me, and then, you know, you'll be good.
Or partner. We don't know.
Oh, that's right. Find yourself a partner who will help you level up. All right, Ken, thank you for the question. You can take every single piece of advice that we gave you, but just remember, we're your financial besties, not your financial advisor or financial planner. So, you know, take our advice with a huge fat grain of salt, right? At the end of the day. But thank you again for your question.
So that's our episode of BAQA. If you have questions that need answers, you can ask us at brownambitionpodcast.com. Click Ask Us Anything or contact us. Or you can send us a DM on IG. We're Brown Ambition Podcast. Or you could tweet us. We're the BA Podcast on Twitters. And we will see you next week for more BAQA and just regular Brown Ambition on our regular Wednesdays. Hey, BA fam, we're on YouTube. Woohoo! Thank you so much for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel.
And while you're at it, why don't you go over to that little bell icon and just tap that for us. Show the BA fam how much you love us. And that way you'll also get notifications when new videos drop. Also, share the channel with a friend. We're always like, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. And thank y'all so much again for all the support.